Hello, my dear students. From Value Education, we are going to see lesson number 3. Being humble is a great quality. Humble means namra asne. Great quality, ek changla gundharm. In the box warm up, you can see this is the story about the Mark Zuckerberg and his wife Priscilla Chan, who was the founder of our Facebook. So, as he was the founder of the Facebook, he is the youngest billionaire in the world, and yet he prefers wearing the same grey t-shirt and hoodie to work every day, and drives an Acura car that cost only $30,000. And even his wedding was being taken in his backyard. He does not buy fancy clothes. He lives in a modest home and likes to spend time with his employees and co-workers. Though he is the youngest billionaire, he do not like to waste of his money, and never he wants to show off the things, but he prefer the simple life. Okay, means he is humble in his life. Now, one more example we are going to see of Albert Einstein, who lived a simple life. See, he was the greatest scientist of all the times. Einstein did not own his own home and a car, but he used to live in the house which was provided by Princeton University to him, where he taught and he did his research. Though he was a great scientist, he did not has his own home and a car, but he was living in a house which was provided by the Princeton University to him, where he was doing his research. He had 12 grey colored identical same suits, because he did not want to waste his time every day on selecting which one to wear, because he was very busy, so he did not want to waste of his time in selecting the dress to be worn every day. So he had a same color suit. He had no airs about himself, means he was not shown off about himself, and he was very approachable, means he was learning new things every time. He was ready to collaborate with scientists who were much lower than him in stature. Once a small child from the neighborhood came to him and asked for his help to solve a maths problem. That time he did not thought that he is a great scientist. Why should I help a small child in just solving the maths problem? And he treated her with utmost courtesy, but he gave that child the most courtesy, and he solved that child's problem. All through his life he remained simple and grounded. Though he was the great scientist, but he never showed it off. Then there are people who earn some money in around our life. In around life, we see that some people, when they get little of money, they start showing off and they become arrogant towards the people. These people are not respected by friends. Such kind of people are not being liked by other people. Neither their relatives like them. Even the co-workers with whom they work, they do not like their attitude. So always we should be humble, though we are very great achiever. Then what is the meaning of being humble? आता humble म्हणजे काय? Humble people are those who do not think of themselves as the best or the most intelligent, the righteous, the brightest, or the strongest. Such people are gentle towards others and to a large extent very modest in their behavior. Such people never flaunt their abilities, means they never show off of their abilities or their possessions, means what position they hold off. Humble people are always very compassionate, means they are very loving, they are very caring, they are very down to earth. Okay, they are considered to their subordinates and respect the sentiments and requirements of the needy people. So this is the meaning of being humble. Now, what is the opposite of being humble? The opposite of being humble is being boastful, conceited, and unduly proud, as well as arrogant. Like arrogant people, they show off their things, whether they have the knowledge or no. Such people always try to put other people down. They are the ones who always feel that they are in some way or the other superior to everybody else. They always boast of their possessions and righteousness. Today, it is difficult to find people who are humble in this world. Most people today boast about themselves. Therefore, when you see a humble person, you do hold him or her in a high regard. This is the today's situation. Now, the story of an arrogant boy. A young boy was going for a walk with his father. This boy had very little knowledge. It may be of any of the things, but he was very little knowledgeable, but was always showing off. Though he did not had much of knowledge, but always he was showing off that he knows everything, and he was teasing others. He would on many occasions be rude and arrogant, even if he was wrong. Though he was wrong at many of the situation, but he was being very rude and arrogant to the other people. While walking through the forest, they came across a tree. When they were on a walk, he and his father, they came across a tree which was in the forest, which was full of fruit. In the picture you could see the tree is full of fruit. It was heavily laden with fruit that the branches was sagging down. Because of lots of fruits on that tree, the branches were also sagging down, some of them almost touching the ground. It was that heavy, or it was being laden with so many of the fruit, so the branches of the tree was touching the ground. Then his father pointed a finger towards the tree and said, "Look, son, this tree which is full of fruit is bent right to the ground, as if being humble. Though the tree has lots of fruits on it, still it is very humble and it is touching the ground. And look at the other tree next to it." And there was one more tree just next to it, and look at that tree which has no fruit. There was no single fruit on that tree, but still it was standing tall so arrogantly. Then the boy immediately got the message from his father. He immediately understood that his father was trying to tell him that importance of being humble. He learned from his father, and from that day onwards he started behaving properly with others. So the moral of this small story is that people who are actually knowledgeable and powerful, like the tree which was full of fruits, they are always humble. If you have lots of knowledge, so automatically you will be humble towards the other people. You should not show off of your knowledge, of your intelligence, but you should be humble to the others. But those who have no knowledge, like the tree which was of without a fruit, they are arrogant and they always try to show off the things. So this is the difference. Now, being humble reflects a good characters. जर आपण humble असेल तर आपलं चांगलं character लोकांसमोर दिसतं. If you want to gain respect from others, obviously everybody want to be respected, so you should be always modest and humble to them. नम्र असलं पाहिजे आपण. The great Chinese philosopher Confucius was an influential teacher, means he was very effective teacher, and he was a political figure also who was respected by all the people of his nation. Still, he took great pains to ask for advice. Though he was very respectful person, he was a great influential teacher, but still he was asking for the advice, even if the advice was from a child also. He did not shy to get advice from a small child also if he wants it, as long as the advice was right. Okay, his students were amazed, means they were surprised, because he had so much knowledge and wisdom, but yet he was ready to take advice from the small children even. Confucius explained to them. Then he gave reason behind this, that he always asked when he didn't understand. Whatever he didn't understand, he used to ask it repeatedly. As long as you are willing to bow your head to learn from others, you can obtain wisdom anywhere. He said, among three people who pass by, there must be one person who can be my teacher. Okay, so though the person are very knowledgeable and very intelligent, but still you have to keep on learning the new things. You should take advice from the small children, even they can give you a precious advice. Then there is a story of a rich lad. Once Socrates, and great philosopher and thinker, he was sitting with his students. One of his student who had a very rich father, means he was from a very rich family, he was boasting in front of his friends and classmates that his family owned a vast fertile land near Athens. Okay, so he was showing off that he belongs to a rich family and they got a very huge fertile land near Athens. Socrates maintained his composure and took a map. Then to show his mistake, Socrates took a map and called the student who was showing off and asked him, can you tell us where is Asia? On this map, can you tell us where is Asia? The student proudly said, the big piece is Asia. Okay, then Socrates asked, well, then where is Greece? The student found it with difficulty on the map, as Greece is a very small country. Then Socrates asked again, then where is Athens? After Asia, where is the Greece? And after Greece, where is the Athens here? Oh, that is much smaller than Greece. So it seems to be here. The student pointed at a small dot, means which was very small on the map, and they showed that this is the Athens. At last Socrates, starting at him, said, now please show me where your vast fertile land is in this map. The student was very nervous, but there was no trace of his land on the map. So he understood his mistake and said to Socrates that I am sorry, I cannot find it on the map. So the moral of this story is that whatever a person can possess, can hold, is only a drop in the sea. Means whatever knowledge you get every day, it is like a drop in the sea and not worthy of mentioning when compared with the world and the universe, which cannot be worthy to compare it with the rest of the world and the universe. Then humility is to make a right estimate of oneself. This is said by Charles Haddon Spurgeon. Humility, namrata. Then humility in great people. Then we have learnt about Dr. Kalam. He was the former president. He was also known as people's president because he was addressing people all of his things. He was highly respected for his humility and generosity. Okay, when his subordinate wanted to leave early one day, when his colleague wanted to leave early one day from his work, because he wanted to take his children to a science museum, he immediately permitted him. He gave him the permission. However, the subordinate got occupied with work. But unfortunately, that day the person got engaged with some of the work and he could not leave early from the office that day. When he reached home after his work, he found out that Dr. Kalam himself took his children to the museum, because that day the person has promised his children that he will take them to the museum, but due to entangled in the work, the person could not reach home early and could not take them to the museum. But he found that Dr. Kalam, he himself has taken these children to the museum. So Dr. Kalam always valued the work of others and reciprocate their efforts. So he used to write his thank you cards himself. So he was very humble to the people. Then one more example is Mother Teresa, who was a humble woman. When given a Lincoln Continental car by Pope Paul VI in 1964, she had it auctioned off to build a leper colony in West Bengal, which is in India. She put others' needs ahead of her own. Means before of her own needs, she thinks for the others. She was one of the most respected, influential, sought after, and loved women in the world. Due to her humbleness, she was also been respected by the people of the country. Then every religion teaches us humility, नम्रता. प्रत्येक धर्म आपल्याला नम्रता शिकवते. When you bow your head in front of God, जेव्हा आपण आपली मान देवासमोर झुकवतो, it is a sign of humility that we show respect towards the God. Since it is the greatest virtue, every religion preaches humility and kindness. A humble person can take ill fortune better than a person who is less humble. Does being humble mean dropping your self esteem? No. In fact, a humble person knows his or her own capabilities, abilities, and potential, but does not boast about it. When we are humble, we get respect from everyone. So we are ready to accept help, we are ready to apologize if it is required at that time. We gift ourselves with the ability to learn more. Even the Buddha said that Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. What he meant was to take refuge in knowledge and wisdom. Then there are some qualities that we find mostly in humble person, that will do what he or she can do to serve others, to help others, will listen to other people's opinions and views also. If you are humble, you will take this lead, will search for wisdom and truth, will be grateful for all that he or she receives, will recognize that he or she knows little but can learn much more, will not be aggressive or rude to others, will appreciate the talents and qualities of others, will not flaunt wealth or knowledge. So read the lesson carefully and try to solve the answers.